Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Faith Fueled Devotionals. We're talking about beware of condemning others, specifically those that are in the house of God. James chapter 4, verse 11, we started last time and we talked about the precept that we are not supposed to speak evil of our brothers. Let me read it to you. It says, "Speak not evil one of another, brethren." And again, that word means to vilify. Speak evil means to slander, to gossip about, to curse them. We're not supposed to speak evilly towards our brother. Today, we're going to learn about why, and James gives 4 reasons. "He that speaketh evil of his brother judgeth his brother, speaketh evil of the law, and judgeth the law. But if thou judge the law, thou art not a doer of the law, but a judge." So there's 4 reasons, 4 purposes why we are not supposed to slander our fellow Christians and those who we are supposed to be loving. The first reason is, if you do it, you're judging your brother. Now the word judge here, if you were to look it up, it means to distinguish or decide in order to condemn or to punish. Now, when it comes to the word judge, we in Christianity often use that word improperly. People often say, "Well, don't judge me," or "Don't judge my family," or we're not supposed to be judging one another, and that's true. But what do you mean by that? If you mean to use discernment towards, we all use discernment. The spiritual man judgeth everything, it says in Corinthians. But if you're talking about condemning somebody, that is God's job only. If you look over what Jesus said in Matthew 7:1, "Judge not that ye judge not that ye be not judged." For with what judgment ye judge, ye shall be judged, and with what measure ye mete, it should also be measured again to you. Why beholdest the mote that is in thy brother's eye, and considereth not the beam that is in thine own eye? Or how wilt thou say to thy brother, Let me pull the mote out of thine eye, and behold, a beam is in thine own eye? Thou hypocrite, first cast out the beam from your own eye, and then thou shalt see clearly to cast out the mote of thy brother's eye. When it comes to judging, we have to be so careful, okay? Now, God may use somebody to get a message across of judgment, but it's not anything we take lightly. We are not to become a judge. That's God's job. And so sometimes we are just so quick to become judge, jury, and executioner on someone's life or someone's reputation. Be careful of that. Don't speak evil because you begin to judge your brother. The second reason is you're speaking evil of the law. Now, what exactly is the law? We're not talking about the civil law. We're not talking about government law. We're referring to the Old Testament, the first 5 books of Moses, the Torah, the Pentateuch, if you will, the law of God. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy are considered the law, and specifically Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. So when it says we speak evil of our brother, we're judging the law. Well, where does it talk about the law and speaking evil together? Does that happen? Of course it does. If you read Leviticus 19:13, there's a strong one. It says, "Do not defraud, press upon, oppress thy neighbor, neither rob him. And the wages that thou hast hired, thou shalt not abide with thee all night until the morning. Thou shalt not curse the deaf, nor put a stumbling block before the blind. But thou shalt fear God. I am the Lord. Ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment. Thou shalt not respect the person of the poor, nor honor the person of the mighty. But in righteousness thou shalt judge thy neighbor." In righteousness. "Thou shalt not go up as a talebearer." And the word there means a scandal monger, somebody that always looking for a juicy story to tell among the people. That's evil speaking. "Neither shalt thou hate thy brother in thine heart. And thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor, and not suffer or allow sin upon him. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord." Now that's just a big passage right there to really get across. You need to treat people as God would want you to treat them. And one of the ways that people are not to be treated according to the Lord is to be spoken of evilly. We need to have a love for one another. Show me a person that's going around gossiping about a brother or sister or a family member or a friend. You're not going to find somebody that cares about that person's well-being. Sometimes we're quicker to speak evil of somebody than we are to pray for them or to reach out a helping hand. And that's just not right. And when you're doing that, you are not just violating that person, you are violating the law of God. God says you're not supposed to do this. The law says to love your neighbor as yourself. And to slander your neighbor is to slander the law, because the law says don't do it. He is judging the law is the third one. This is very important here. How would a person be condemning the law? Well, if a person is slandering their neighbor, they believe that it's the right thing to do. And if it is the right thing to do, then by default, they are condemning the law, which is incorrect. So if you say, oh yeah, it's okay to talk about sister so-and-so or brother so-and-so and throw them under the bus, then you're saying that it's okay to do that, and God says it's not. No, you are judging the law. Are you telling me that God's word is for that? No. When you speak evil of a brother or sister, you are judging your brother. You are speaking evil of the law. You are judging the law. And lastly, you're making yourself, and I'm making myself, a judge. How would a person be making themselves a judge here? When you condemn somebody, it's like you're putting on a robe, putting a gavel in your hand, and you're saying, boom, this person is guilty. When we don't really know the whole story. Can I just remind all of us, you don't know what somebody else is going through, and you don't know the struggles behind the scenes. And it's unfortunate that when we do see somebody struggling, all they get is condemnation rather than compassion. We need to come at people with meekness and understand that we are all made of flesh. We are all weak. We all struggle. And if it weren't for the grace of God, you would be that person who you're condemning or speaking evil of. We have to be so careful about how we talk about others, because it may come back around to bite us. You reap what you sow. And it's a good thing to stop the cycle on this. So why shouldn't I speak evil of my brother? Because you're not a judge. And God's word says not to. Let's remember that when we hear something about another person. Thank you for tuning in. God bless you. Have a great day.